So first, I want everyone to ask themselves a very important question. If you can't inspire yourself, how could you inspire others? Because that's what we're here for today. You're going to have lots of conversations, you're going to meet lots of people, and you're going to be inspired. I want everyone to walk away inspired so they can inspire everyone else out there. Yes, if you guys could count how many times I say inspire today, the winner will get a magnet or something from me. So, some of you folks know the journey I've been on the last couple of years, some have not, so I'm going to share that with you. And I had to be inspired for this journey I was about to go on, but I just didn't know how much yet. I didn't know how much I would need to be inspired. So let me share my story with you guys. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible here, if it works. I'm going to take you guys back to March 14, 2024, the night after Transform ended. Anybody who was out there, Florida, that was quite a show. And I think I got back to my hotel room at about 3 o'clock in the morning. Everyone knows how that kind of works out in Vegas. And I had a 9:30 a.m. flight, so my alarm was about to go off. But my phone kept ringing and ringing and ringing. And the only calls that get through when my phone are on Do Not Disturb are my wife, my daughter, my parents, you know, that like the VIP list. So I knew something was wrong. And there was a voice message from my wife screaming, saying, Adam, the kids are okay, but call me. And I called her back, and we got the news that my brother-in-law, Jake, had a massive heart attack in his sleep, and he died. And I don't know why I took this picture, but I was lying in bed and looking out, and it changed everything that day. And that was the moment that set me on the course for the next 2 years of my life. But I want to spend a minute and talk about my brother-in-law, Jake. The best guy in the world with the biggest heart. The first guy to be in your corner. The first guy to cheer you on when things weren't going well for him. Because he had a tough life. He had his demons. He battled his demons like everybody else. But that didn't matter. Because he was always there for you. And he cared. And he was the first person to have your back no matter what. And it was tough. He had a tough life. And in the 17, 18 years that I knew him, tough time finding a job, but he pushed through. He did what he had to do for his family, but it was not an easy go. And I knew that I had to use that moment to take care of myself. Just turned about 45 at the time, and you folks out there know that you got to get, the oil changed and do your checkup. So I went to the cardiologist. Let me get there. May 22nd. Doctor ordered a standard CT scan. Anybody knows what that is? You go and it's like a CAT scan. They make sure your heart's good and everything. And the test came back, and the doc's like, well, here's the good news. Your heart's great. I'm like, okay. He's like, but the scan is showing a mass right here in your chest. I was like, oh, shit. We got to find out what that is. So then we went down the path. Come on. Of meeting an oncologist. And if anybody who's been through this before, that is not a fun appointment. I'd rather go to the dentist and get a root canal than have to go to the oncologist. He said, listen, we don't know what this is, but I'm going to tell you right now, it may not be a good thing. I've seen this before. It may not be a good thing. And I went for that first PET scan. And when that first PET scan came in, I was lit up like a Christmas tree. Not in a good way. There was a lot of hot zones here and in my neck and the whole upper area here. And he said, you need to go for a biopsy. So I went for that first biopsy, August 20th, 2024, and that came back inconclusive. Shit, we don't know what this is. We got to go for another one. October 14th, lymph biopsy, came back inconclusive again. And we know we needed to change something. We needed to change doctors. We need to go in a different direction. So we headed to the city. It'd be great if this was a little quicker here. And we met with Dr. Zervos, the top guy at NYU Langone. December 18th, bronchioscopy. Anybody knows what this is? They went in through my windpipe and stuck needles through my windpipe to get to the mass. Guess what? That came back inconclusive. So now we still have no idea what this is. No idea at all. And he said, now we got to do the surgery. February 10th, they turned me on my side, 4 incisions, collapsed my lungs so they could get to the mass. They went in, they took about 30% of it out. And now we waited. We waited a full week to find out what was going on. February 17th, Anybody who's been through this, the call, the dreaded call. You feel it. You feel it in your bones. You feel it in your fingertips. You don't know what's going to come, but it came. 3A Hodgkin's lymphoma. That was a tough one. Went over to Memorial Sloan Kettering, met with the team there, went down the path, and here's what they said. For the next 6 months, every other Friday, you're going to get chemo. That's not good. What am I going to do? How am I going to get through this? How am I going to be there for my wife, my kids? How am I going to hold my business together? March 28th, chemo number 1. And I don't want to put anyone on the spot here, but if anybody's open to it, has anyone gone through this? Yeah, that first one. You don't know what to expect. You're scared. They're sticking giant needles in your arm. How am I going to feel? Is my hair going to fall out right away? Am I going to be nauseous? Am I going to be throwing up? What is that going to be like? And I went through it for the next 6 months. But how'd I do that? I had my friends. I had my family. Every session, I brought someone with me who would lift me up, who would keep me distracted as I went through this, as they pumped the poison through my veins. Because you feel it. You taste it. I can't even put into words what it tastes like to have that poison going through your veins. But in the back of your head, you're like, I'm going through this because I know it's going to save me. And I know it's going to work. And you do it. And there's those moments afterwards, you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. But you know that you have to. Because you're not just doing it for you, you're doing it for them. September 5th, last one. How good is that last one? How good is that? I've never wanted anything more in my life except for this. 2 weeks ago, the text from my doctor. Text! Remission. Yeah. How about that for a text message? Same thing with your candidates out there, right? Text them that, hey, the offer's coming. They'll like that. I even text them, hey, sorry, you didn't get the job. They're like, shit, call me now. I'm like, no, I'm going to stick to text message here. I don't want to really talk to you here. So how did I get through it, guys? How did I get through it? I did get through it. I'm still going through it. The slide's still going through it. I didn't need to look far for inspiration. I really didn't. And anybody who's been following the podcast for a while, I've had some incredible guests on. So I went back and I listened to a bunch of episodes that really motivated me. Nick Lavery. Anybody know this guy? Anybody know who this guy is? This guy is a Green Beret. Green Beret. He got both of his legs blown off in combat in Afghanistan. This guy fought back with prosthetic legs and came back in his active duty, the first ever to come back active duty. Do you even know what that takes? To be able to not just pass the physical fitness test, not just to champion himself to his superiors to let him back in, but he went back and had to prove himself and have his team trust him that he would have their back. And they didn't even flinch once because they knew who he was. This guy inspired me. And this guy inspired me, Angus Collins, world record holder for solo rowing across all the oceans. And he had a mental breakdown when he turned 30 and almost took his own life. And he had to push himself through this. How is he going to get through those moments of solitude on the open ocean, alone with your thoughts, knowing that you are halfway across the Pacific or the Atlantic and you got to get to the other side? What is going to get you to the other side? Or was it Bozeman St. John? You guys know who she is? You guys know who Bose is? She's awesome. She had a newborn. Her husband diagnosed with brain cancer. He had a tumor. He passed away when their daughter was 6 months old, and she had to get through it as a single parent. Ran marketing for Pepsi, CMO of Netflix, CMO of Beats by Apple. She pushed through, and guess what happened last year? Her fucking house burned down in the Malibu fires. And she kept pushing and pushing. And she inspired me to live an urgent life. That's Bozeman's message. That every day is important. that every day counts, that every day you got to make the best of it because you don't know how many days you're going to have left. Or was it Staff Sergeant Travis Mills, quadruple amputee? How did he push through to inspire others? And he's out there raising money and building houses for vets and working to get them jobs. And how do you pivot from that? And how do you push through? And how do you inspire? Or was it Anton Newtonblum, the barefoot Dutchman? This dude served in the Dutch military. He had his mental breakdown. He almost offed himself at the top of a mountain in Australia. And at that moment, he took his shoes off and he walked the entire east coast of Australia barefoot. And he was inspired. And he started to raise money and awareness for men's mental health. And he walked from base camp, from Nepal to base camp Everest barefoot. And he just completed, at the end of last year, he walked across the entire United States barefoot. Are you kidding me? These are the people that push you. These are the people that inspire. But these are the people that inspire me. That's why I did it. For them. For these guys. So how did I get through it? How did I get through the work? Because I needed to. I work for myself. If I don't work, there's no food on the table. And I needed to push through. And it also helped me focus. And I put my faith in others. Where's Rona? Is Rona here? She took over the show for me. And not only took it over, she did a better job than me too. She crushed it. Rona, thank you. And I'm an old school recruiter. Joel and I were talking about this last night. I mean, I could get lost in a LinkedIn search like anybody else, right? But I needed to multiply myself. I needed to make myself better, faster, stronger. Yeah, it's a Daft Punk song I'm doing over here because that was me. I needed to be a machine. And that's what I did. With my partner's Juicebox, utilizing the technology to 3x my speed, my efficiency on sourcing. Oh, I went deep on GPT. If you guys could ask me anything, I'm a whiz at that. Utilizing AI notes like Nuta, right? And figuring out how to work with my tools and my partners to make me more efficient so I could get the work done. Why? Because every day at 2 o'clock, I would crash. Anybody who went through this knows that fatigue is real. And fatigue means you hit the wall and you can't do anything. So I needed to be better. And guess what? During those 6 months of chemo, I placed 17 people in new jobs. I made a difference. I pushed through it no matter how shitty I was feeling. I did my job because that's what us recruiters do. The good ones, because we care. We actually give a shit. We really do care about our people, and we want to see them succeed. We want to see you succeed. That's what we're here for. That's our job, and we make it happen. And we do make that happen. And I focus on what makes me happy. I kept doing the podcast. A new episode every Friday. I didn't skip a beat. I kept recording, even though I lost my hair. I lost my facial hair. I lost my eyebrows. That's the worst part. I've been talking about it for the last 2 days. Out of all the things I went through, literally, that was the worst part. And they're not, that's why I'm wearing glasses. They're going to come back, but they will come back. Hopefully, they'll come back better, stronger, right? We'll get there, too. It's going to take a little bit of time. The hair's growing back, too. It's not always a bad thing. We'll get there. I surrounded myself with my tribes, all my tribes. My tribes here, Joel, Evan, John, Nikki, Trent, Rona, everybody out here that has supported me over the last 6 months, checking in, and like really checking in, and really caring. The whole community here, and all the silver linings. I let go of control. I realized, hey, there's things I can't control, and there's nothing I can do about it. I have to go to every treatment. I have to push through this. So what can I control? And focus on those things. Self-awareness. How in tune am I with my body? Presence. Being more patient with my wife and kids. And my wife's like, I think you're only like 3% more patient now, so maybe you want to go back and do that chemo thing again. And gratitude. And really taking a moment to take inventory of what's important in life, what's meaningful, and focus on those things. And purpose. A renewed focus on my purpose to connect opportunity with talent. That's what I do, and how am I going to be better at that for all of them out there? But most importantly, how do I keep a positive mental attitude to inspire myself to be my best for them and for you guys? But Jake's story, this is where I get emotional. Sorry. Jake's story isn't over. And I told you guys earlier, Jake had a tough time with work over the 17, 18 years. But 6 months before he passed, he said to me, I'm ready. I'm ready to return to work. I need your help. I was like, that's what I'm here for, brother. That's what I'm going to do for you. And we fixed his resume. We fixed his LinkedIn. I coached him. He started applying for jobs. And right a couple days before he passed, he got the first phone calls that a company wanted to interview him. So Jake, of all the times you were proud of me, you left this earth with me proud of you. And if I leave you guys with one thing today, it's this. You never realize how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. And I pray to God that none of you have to go through this, but know that all of you have it inside of you, because that's who you are and that's what we are. So I want to thank everybody for joining me for a few minutes here and listening to my story. But we're going to start this on a high note today. I don't want to leave it here. We're going to get the show going here. We have a great bunch of recruiting and TA professionals that we are going to bring on the stage, and I'm going to be introducing for the morning here. And let's get it going. Thank you, everybody. Where's my music?